Welcome everybody. This is the Thursday evening Viper Trading webinar. If you are here to learn about trading the futures instruments using the Viper tools, you are absolutely in the right place. Tonight's topic is quickly spot volatility and ranges, and then of course the corresponding element important to that knowledge is how to trade it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and knock out our standard disclaimer so we can get to some charts and look at trades, which is why is everybody here. Everybody's here. All communications from Viper Trading Systems are for educational purposes only. Futures trading does involve risk, and there is a risk of loss. Nothing contained in this webinar, other webinars, including the live trading room, are to be construed as investment or trading advice. And of course, everybody in here does know that you do trade at your own sole discretion. By the way, if you're just coming in, I see some new faces popping in here. Don't worry. This is recorded. If you have to leave early, don't worry about it. We're going to post it tomorrow morning after the live room into the subscriber area. So if you're a member, obviously you get access there. And then and we should get it on the public website as well. So if you're visiting or in a free trial, you get to see it too. All right, let's get over to screen one and get on with our program here tonight. Excuse me. So what I want to show here is there are some good examples of multiple types of trade setups on YM, and that's why I picked this chart to start off with. There's good examples of different scenarios to be aware of. So what you're looking at here, for those of you that are totally new, is we're connected to a data feed to our broker, NinjaTrader. And this is 4 range bars that are coming in from the data feed. If we didn't have Viper indicators on here, you would just simply see bars going up and down. It'd be very hard to sort of focus and figure out what to do from a trading point of view. So we have the background colors: green, intermediate, transitional, and red. We got the power meters, which is the 4 trends on the chart. Bar colors, obviously, red, yellow, and blue. One of them, we have the predictors, swing levels in real time. That's the sort of bubbles with the lines. And of course, the most prominent thing on here is the mid band and the 4 bands below it and the 4 bands above. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 bands. This thin red line is called line 2. You'll hear that discussed on trade taking and in the room. And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 mid band, the thick line right here, and then of course you have 5, 6. The thin green line is line 6 at the top of band 6, and then of course you have 7 and 8 is the outermost band. Okay. Now, one of the most important things to do from in terms of how we decide what type of trades to take, and I'll just by the way, this is part 1. So what I'm going to do is I'll try to cover the basics on several different charts, different instruments. Part 2 is Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. I'll get into more complicated topics in that webinar. So I'll try to keep it pretty straightforward here so we all get a good sense of what's going on here. So in order to determine what types of trades we're going to take, and when I say types of trades, I mean, are we going to get one of the fundamental decisions we need to make, obviously, when we're looking at a chart is, are we going to look to take long trades? Here, long or short trades. So that is the fundamental question on the table pretty much every morning, right? Now, if we think about this at a high level for a minute, and we have this issue in front of us, long or short, just a pop question here, make sure everybody's awake and paying attention. You had your coffee and you're awake. What would you say is the most important thing to determine whether you're going to take long trades or short trades? Just pop up a question for the team here. I'll give you 10 seconds. What kinds of things would you say are important to determining whether you should be taking the long side or the short side of the market? What factors should you need to consider? Just type in what you think is important. All right, some feedback coming in here. Hey, Jim B. Came in late, no problem. You made it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Trend direction from Robert K. Mid-band colors and whether it's stair-stepping from Aspen. That's a good one. The trend. $1,000, Alex. I'll take the trend. There you go. Retracement into the trend direction. Good. Consolidation or trending. Bar color and background. Yes, those are all good, important factors. So let's talk about the long side and the short side, and then we'll start looking at examples. So when you take, when you're looking for long trades, so let's just put it this way, long trades would equal uptrend or sideways to up, right? And we'll talk about that. We'll look at examples of this in just a second. And taking short trades would equal a downtrend, right? Geez, my typing's terrible tonight. Sorry about that. Or sideways to down. So let's look at some examples of uptrend, downtrend, and sideways to down. Sideways to up and sideways to down. What those look like. And then we'll do a couple of pop quizzes where I will show you scenarios of different market conditions to see if you can accurately determine what the market is doing. Now, let's start here to the left. This is today. I'm here in California, so this is going to all be Pacific time here. Midnight Pacific was right here on YM. So when you this would have been the close of the market yesterday, 1 o'clock, 1:15. The market closes temporarily, and then it returns on, and then at 5 o'clock my time, you go into what's called the Australian or Asian trading session right here. This is the Asian trading session overnight here. So that's all the big banks in Singapore, Hong Kong, and throughout Asia are trading futures actively. And what would you say the trend direction for YM was in the Asian trading session last night? That would essentially be from here at the close, approximately where my cursor is going up and down, into midnight, where you go into the European trading session. So I'll just put that right on here. Was it up or down or sideways? U, D, or S? This is the Asian. And you can trade this, by the way. There are markets that are active in this time frame, and actually it just started. So for instance, you could look at like 6J, the Japanese yen futures, 6S, the Swissy, if you want to trade. In fact, we can pop those up and look at them. This is the Asian trading session overnight, since the futures markets are 24/5. So in the Asian session last night, U, D, or S, was it up, down, or sideways from here, close of the market, till midnight in this area right here? Up. Yeah. So characteristics of the uptrend are predominantly blue bars. The mid-band and all the bands are stair-stepping up, as they are doing here. Background would be green, right? So the Asian trading session on YM, the trend was up. So let's just put that right in here from last night. Trend was up. And so if I was to put an equal in here for what types of trades you would be looking for, the answer would obviously be long. You're looking for long trades, right? Now let's go back. How do we know it's up when it's happening in real time? How would you know, for instance, let's just draw a big circle around an area as the market started to close. and the Asian session was kicking off in this area right here, how do you know you're up at the time it's happening in real time? How do you know you're up? What are some telltale signs that are on the chart that would help you quickly decide, am I up or not? Well, were you up going into the beginning of it? Let's look over here. Was this up here? So was the Asian session a continuation of the end of the US session? Green midband and then turns blue for fresh highs of the day, right? We did have a little consolidation patch right here that was broken to the upside, right? So let's go back and recreate that. Here we're going into the close. It was a pretty choppy day on YM. In fact, most of the day was spent kind of chopping around in this range over here. That was sideways. And then for some reason around 11:30, you started to get this push up through the top of resistance right here. Market broke up into the close, had a deep retracement, and then resumed its up direction over here. So that's how you can tell it. You can put lines. There's a couple of different things that are really important when you're trying to sort this out. You can put lines at support and resistance levels, and then you will determine whether it's sideways to up or up trending or sideways to down and down trending. So let's go ahead, recreating last night, and then we'll move forward into the European session into today. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and put a line here somewhere at the top of the range for the afternoon. And we could put a line that we knew of when this was going on, more or less up in here. Would you not agree that there were swings here that we could put lines on going into the Asian session? Right? There was some support down in these areas here, and there was some support or resistance up in that areas right there. And so this is essentially the range that it's in an uptrending manner. Here we pull back, we get support. We pull back, we get support. We pull back, we get support. We try to get slightly higher lows. This wasn't particularly great to trade, but there were some trades. Now, I'll talk about those entries in just a second. So right now what we're doing is all we're doing when we look at a chart is just simply trying to, before we talk about trades, we'll talk about trades. We'll talk about entries. Don't worry, that's critical. Of course, we're going to get to that. But when you look at a chart and you toggle back and forth on it, you have to very quickly be able to discern, am I going up? Am I going down? See me toggling back and forth here, recreating that time frame? See it? So was I getting long or was I getting short? Was I getting long in here? Or was I getting short? I was getting long. And so the way we do this is that we have thrusts and retracements. I'm just going to touch on that for now because what I'd really like to do is spend about another 10 minutes, 10, 12, 15 minutes on this whole notion of seeing whether you're trending or not and what just simply the direction of the trades. Okay? That's really critical. So when we take a trade on the long side, we wait for what we call a thrust. In this case, it would be up in the direction of the trend. And then markets inevitably pull back or retrace into support areas. So here's an example of a long trade right here. This would have been right about when the Asian session kicked off yesterday. Okay? And we get another thrust with some chop in the middle, and then we pull back and find support right here between line 6 and the midband, and all of these are long trades. I'm not going to do them all, but you get the idea. Thrust and retracement, thrust and pullback, thrust, retracement, thrust, and pullback, all the way up. Now, let's advance this chart a little bit more and look right in here. So the question on the table is this. Let me blow this up over here to the right. Now you're going into what's called the European trading session right here. Okay, when you cross the midnight Pacific time zone, of course, that's 8 o'clock in the morning over there, right? They're 8 hours ahead of us. England, London, the big banks in Europe. And so what we do is we transition into the European trading session. Oops, too many S's, right? European trading session. Now, I have a question for the team here. When we went into the European session over here, what happened to the market? Are we now in a downtrend? Got a lot of red bars here. Look at this. Is this now a downtrend, this area right here? Has the market changed from up to down? That's a yes or no question. You got 5 seconds. 4 seconds. It's a yes or no. Has it transitioned to down? Yes. Or has it transitioned to down? No. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Just a Y or an N. Yes, it's transitioned to down. No, it's still up. 2 seconds. What say you, team? Is that a trend change? Is this a trend change right here? That's basically the question. Time's up. No. And the reason for that is that we have not significantly broken support levels, and the corresponding things that would happen would be that the midband would start stair-stepping down. You would get a red background. You would see clearly that, and we'll look at examples of this too. This is British tea time. Now, was this conducive particularly to long trades? Not really. Could you say it was sideways to not trending up anymore, really? Is this a good area to trade on the long side? Probably not. How would you know it was no longer trending? What would you do? Would it be prudent to put a line here and then another line right here? Well, you already got a line here. Just put another line right there. So here's the thing. There are times when you do not necessarily need to take trades, right? If a market isn't doing what you want it to do you need to trade it? Do you need to be in the market all the time? Or are there certain conditions that you like that are favorable for you to have a high success rate in your trading? Yes. Would this be an example of not a good area? Yes. Technically speaking, you're still in an uptrend, but it's drifting south, and it's very hard to take long trades like this. I can understand that. Now let's advance the chart. We're gonna start to do more real-time recreation and real-time exercises together. All right. I'm going to continue this European session, and when you think you come out of this range and the uptrend resumes, simply type in the letter R. So, but before we do that, I would characterize this area as no trades. There are times when you should not be trading, okay? If it's particularly choppy and you don't like the price action, you do not have to trade it. Find another chart. Or put something on the chart that will let you know, hey, hold on, wait. Now we're back in a condition that I'm interested in. What could we do that would do that? Well, we could put our alerts on. We could turn on long. We think we're still in long trade. We could put midband alerts on, right? I'm not going to do that right now. I want you to be able to see it first. The alerts are supposed to help what you already see, okay? But yeah, you could put the alerts on. That's minimum criteria, deep retracements. Turn all those on in the uptrend. Now I'm going to advance this chart. I'm going to blow it up. And you type in an R for when you feel that there's long uptrend reinstatement, and you can start taking trades again. Here we go. All right, we're at 2 in the morning here. Advancing the chart. There's 2:30. R for resumption of uptrend. 3:18. 3:30. 335, 348, still in the European session, 350, blow the bars up a little, make them a little bit bigger so you can see them. Oh, I had this thing paused. That's why nobody's typing anything in. Jeez. Okay. Everybody see the bar? Is it moving now? Chart moving? Yes. Chart moving? Yes. No. Maybe so. Yes. Okay, good. Well, that was pretty dumb. I had the screen pause and I started doing the exercise. That was totally dumb. Sorry about that. Okay, we ready for the exercise? All right, let's do this together. We're recreating the first few hours of the European trading session. We're sitting kind of on and underneath the midband with red sideways bars. We have classified this area as not particularly good to take trades, so we need to wait for uptrend resumption. And when you believe you see it, you simply type in the letter R. Here we go. 246, 320, 330, 333, 340, 340, 357. So I'm really going pretty fast in reality because I just did from here to here, which is actually 15 minutes in about like less than 30 seconds. So these bars are coming a lot faster than they would in real time. They'd be going a lot slower. All right, here we are coming up on 4 a.m. Pacific. R for resumption of uptrend. R for resumption of uptrend. When you think you see it, you type in the letter R. 446, 448, 5 a.m. Pacific. We're now in the pre-market session for the equities in the United States. 454, and there's 5 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, what you can notice, and this is really, if you can train your eye to see this, this is really, really, really important on almost every chart you're going to look at in terms of price action. I want to zero in on this area right here first and put a circle around it. Like that. Now, right in this area right here, you can see that the market was testing support, testing support, testing support, testing support, and right in here, it could not clear this. It can, every time it got up, it bumped its head, bumped its head, bumped its head, bumped its head. And then you had a consolidation patch that sat just on top of the midband, right slightly above the top of the prior range that it was in for 3.5 hours. Now, some of you actually typed in R's when these bars formed right here. You would be the early bird adopters. Could you take the long trade there? Yes. That's the aggressive entry. When it pops through the top of its trading range and sits there, you could have boxed this in and gotten long anywhere right in here. Yes. And a lot of you typed in R's when these bars formed right here. That is early adopters. You want to be able to start clearly seeing that. So when we say words like quickly spot this, quickly see this, this is what we're describing. You watch and you can toggle back and forth as you train your eye to see it, right? You toggle back and forth. You go back, you look at it. Okay, now I see, right? We were in a range. I see that now. I can see the range. I put my lines on my chart. I see it. Okay, wait. I see. Okay, we're pushing the top. We're breaking the top a little bit. Right? We're starting to get a little bit of series of higher lows here. And we call that out in the room when we see it too, right? Remember hearing that in the room if you go in the room? When we start seeing that, okay, wait a minute, wait, hold on. We're starting to get series of higher lows. In other words, when it popped up here to these upper areas, it was no longer returning down to this area down here, was it? These are little breadcrumb clues that the market gives you that things are about to resume back to the upside, yes? Now, when this part happened right here, and we popped up through the consolidation at the top of the range, I think everybody, a whole slew of R's came in here. And that was good, yes. Not as early as here, but it's still very good. And it's absolutely resumption of the uptrend. We have a thrust. Background turns from transitional back to green. Bars are predominantly blue. And we get a slight stepping up of the midband and all the bands right here. So now that we see the thrust, the background to green, and the stair stepping, we are waiting for what to get in? What do we need to take a trade? We see the thrust. Here's the thrust. We see it. We understand it. We know what it's doing. Uptrend is back. Thank you very much. Good to see you. We got to see have a pullback. There's got to be a retracement back to somewhere. And where could it likely pull back to? Somewhere in here. Anywhere in here would represent an opportunity to do what? Trend is up. Yeah, get long. We're looking for a long bounce. Right, exactly. We're looking for a long bounce. So if we put something under the European trading session arrow, it would be, we would say something like this. Transition. Here, I'll do it this way. Maybe this is a better way to put it. Sideways. Uptrend resumption. We see it. We know it. Which then equals long trade entries on pullbacks. Okay? Right? All right. Let's go ahead and play the rest of the European session out for giggles. And then we'll quickly go into the beginning of the U.S. Equity trading session and determine what we did from that point forward. So I'm going to stair step this out until about 5:45, 5:50, right about when Gary was opening up the live room. In fact, I'm going to do it in this manner. I'm going to advance the chart now that we're all on board, recreating this time frame. And when you think you see a long trade entry appear on the chart that you should have taken if you were trading this session, you simply type in the word or the letter L. Are you ready? All right, we already know European trading session trend came out of sideways to up, trend resumption. We're looking for longs on retracements. Now I'm going to go ahead and blow this up and walk forward from 413. And when you think you see a long trade set up, type in the letter L. Ready? Here we go. Okay, this is smells are coming in, and that's perfectly okay because we said, before this exercise we said, thrust, retracement, holding support above the midband. This is a long entry. Yes. A lot of you typed in else. Yes. Okay, now moving forward from this, we're at 4:46 a.m. Pacific, still in the European trading session. Here we go. Okay, long trades working out. There's 4:49. Proceeding further into the European session. Unite birds. See, on the East Coast, it was at least 7:48, so you're 3 hours ahead here. Now, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to go ahead and turn some, since we're in the uptrend, we turn the long notices on. I'm going to help you out a little bit here. Criteria long and phantom long. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. 4:52 a.m. Pacific. Five o'clock. 5:11. 5:30. 5:32. 5:40. We're about 10-15 minutes away from Gary opening up the live room. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, a lot of L's came in, but a lot of we got a great turnout here tonight. We got a lot of people in the room in this webinar. And it should have helped when I turn the alerts on, because how many of you typed in an L when you saw this happen? Is that a long trade entry? Is there a flashing bar right there? Yes. Did it work out? Well, if you put a region box on it, you were filled on the close one of these bars right here, depending on when you turned it on. And yeah, it turned out to be a great trade. Is there more flashing over here? Yeah. Did that you get much out of that trade? Probably not. Probably stopped out at break even, or maybe even lost a little bit of money. Now, Robert K is typing in something that's very interesting, and I want to pause and address it, because this comes up a lot. And you know, some people, you know, may or may not like when I say this, but here's how I'd like to put it. When it comes to trading the Viper system that we've created here, there are really fundamentally three types of trades, and you saw them on the Object Trader alert. We have what are called mid-band trades, long and short. This is where the long and short, right? We have minimum criteria trades. Long and short. And we have deep retracement / phantom trades. Long and short, right? Now you can turn your alerts on to flag any and or all of these trade types. In the uptrend, you favor the long side, right? In the downtrend, you favor the short side. You turn the short side alerts on. So let me ask you, and this is addressing Robert K's concern, which is a valid and very good one. He says, I try minimum criteria trade entries, and I don't like them, and I don't do very well at them. So my question is this. If you try this type in Sim, or even on some live charts, you see the alert popping. You know that closing bars under stealth and line 6 in an uptrend, this box is the very definition of a minimum criteria long entry. And you've taken them sometimes, and sometimes they work, and a lot of times they don't, and you wind up just losing money. Then are minimum criteria trades for you? Yes or no? Is that something you should continue to do? Minimum criteria. If consistently they're losers. That's a yes or no question. How about deep retracements? How about what if you take these ones where it pulls back way down in here like this, and the bars are red, it's under the mid-band, you're thinking trend change, you know, you don't know if it's going to bounce down here. You see them, you know what they are. They may be even called out in the live room. You might see them, and you might know what they are. And they might be flagged. They may not be flagged. The alerts may show, they may not. But for some reason, you just can't. Every time you do one, you lose. The trend flips, and you get spanked, and you just. Well, then, should you continue to trade those? No. And what we said before in all these webinars is that, you know, these are all valid trade types. But you know what? If you aren't good at any one of them, I think you want to try to focus on one. The one I would suggest is trying to get really good at mid-band trades. That's a good start. Figure out how on your chosen instrument, when a market comes into this mid-band area, whether it's trending up or down, that you're going to get really good at this trade first, and then expand out to minimum criteria and deep retrace phantom. Everybody see the cursor moving? Moving the trade types around. Cursor moving. You can still see it, and I'm not paused. I'm not paused. This is all live. We're good. See it? So we're going to teach it. We're going to show it. There are alerts that can flag it. You don't have to turn them on, obviously. But here's the thing. If you limit your repertoire to only mid-band trades, you're seriously limiting, when you get these big runs, a lot of times you don't get those deep retracements. Sometimes the market just doesn't pull back. And if you say, I'm not going to take this trade or that trade, you're going to cut a third of your trades out. Yeah, Mindy says that she's saying the mid-band trades with yellow bars are the hardest ones for me to take. Well, here's what I can tell you. In most cases, this is an exception right here, and some of these are exceptions. Sometimes the bars will come down, and when they get really close to the mid-band, a lot of times they're going to turn yellow. Sometimes they're going to turn yellow and not around the mid-band, but a lot of times they're going to get down around that mid-band and turn yellow. I would not let the bar color influence you at all. It might not make any sense. We always emphasize the bar color is important, but a lot of times, bar colors are not. Price action is more important than bar color. And if a bar is sitting on a mid-band in a long trade, in an uptrend to take a long entry, even if the bars are yellow, you're just going to have to overlook that. Now, in an uptrend, if you go around the mid-band and the bars are blue, that makes it a lot easier, visually speaking. Like right in here, this box right here, of course, this early adoption box right here. Bars were blue. You're sitting on the mid-band. Yeah. All right. So now we're getting ready to open the live room today, and we're getting ready to go into the trading session. 550, 551, 555, 6 o'clock. Now on YM, what can happen going into the U.S. equity market open? Can the market change trends? Can the market go from up to down? Should we lock ourselves into a trend direction and say that's all I'm going to trade and when the equity market's open? Or is it quite possible that the things could change? Craziness, algos, markets can change. We got to be ready. Now, I'm going to advance this chart, and when you think the trend is changed from up to down, simply type in the letter D. Are you ready? This is just before 6 a.m. and we're going to Gary open the room to look at the charts. Here we go. When you think the trend has changed from up to down, you type in the letter D. Here we go. Okay, there's 544, 549, 551, 552, all right, I'm gonna help everybody a little bit here. I'm gonna give you a little bit of help because you can do this. This is what you should do. I'll put a line on there for you. See if that helps. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to where we were. Now that you have that line. Okay, we started the exercise right here. Remember, 540. Here we go. 544. 546, 549. Remember, this isn't. I'm not asking you to make a trade call. That's not what this exercise is. This isn't type in. I didn't say put in the letter S to take a short. That's not what I said. What I said was when you think the trend has changed from up to down, you simply type in the letter D. Okay. All right. Continuing on. 551, 555, rooms open, live rooms open. 6 o'clock, 6:02, 6:04. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. All right, some of you are probably struggling to see this, and that's totally okay. I saw a ton of Ds. Probably half of you put Ds in, and that's good. But some of you might be looking at this for the first time, and it's very confusing. And so we're here to help you understand and see what's going on. Okay? And let me do it this way. I'm going to create 3 areas on here, and then I'm going to take a vote. I'm going to call this area A. And now it's obviously easier. It's harder to see it in real time, but a lot of you got it right. And some of you didn't maybe see it at all, and so I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to call this area B. And I'm going to call this area C. Okay? Now let's cast our votes. I'll give you 10 seconds to type in a letter. Did the trend change from up? We're all clear that this is up, and we just, in excruciating detail, talked about how that we knew it was up, where support and resistance were, how we waited for retracements, and we took long trades, and so this was all very clear over here, right? So did the trend change now that you have the benefit of hindsight? It's obviously a lot harder to do it in real time as the bars are coming in, but once you learn it, you can see it when it's really happening, right? Okay, so was it A, B, or C? Where you feel, and there's 6 seconds left to type in your letter. Cast your vote. A, B, or C? 3 seconds. Cast your vote, team. See a lot of letters coming in here. 2 seconds. A, B, or C? Where the trend changed from up to down. 1 second. Time's up. Now, in area A, right here, what color was the background when area A formed? And why did I put the line here? I could put lines on this chart anywhere. Why did I put a line there? What color was the background here? Yeah, still green. Let's go back and recreate this. And there's a reason I'm doing this. Is when this occurred, and you saw it happening in real time in area A, is it possible, given the condition as it looks right here, right now that you see it, could the market have bounced off of that support level right here where it got long last time and broken back up for trend continuation up? Yes or no? In area A. Yes or no? Could it have gone back up? Now that you look at it that way. Yes. The answer is of course yes. The background was green and you were holding support. It could have bounced there. So was that, now that you look at it that way, was A a correct answer? Was A a transition area to shorts, to a downtrend? No. Everybody see that now clearly? You see that? Everybody see that? A was not the right answer. Now, continuing on, here we see that the support level is broken. And with the formation of these bars right here, what happens to the background color? It turns red. It's a thrust down, and the background turns red, and the bars are red. The support is broken. In and of itself, is this break right here considered a confirmation of a downtrend? Could there be a A1 and A2 or a B1 and B2, and you would put one here and designate that as the trend change? Or is it possible that with this thrust you still could get a bounce and the uptrend could resume? Let me advance the chart to answer that question. Once the market comes back in area B and kisses support twice, kisses what prior support, this prior support area becomes resistance, and that's why the line is important to put it there. You should always put lines on your charts. And it comes up and it kisses and rolls off of here with the wicks of these candles and then subsequently breaks down. Is area B considered the transitions point where now you're getting lower highs and lower lows? The background is red and you've just kissed resistance and rolled over and broken. B. Yes. B is the confirmation. Now, there's a question, could you enter short here? Yes, absolutely. This is what we call the aggressive entry. This is the aggressive entry. This is the most aggressive entry. You know, the less aggressive entry is you wait for area C, which is confirmation even further. And, you know, you could make the case, well, you know, it did break this other swing and now it's really heading down. And I would agree with you, but that's late. That's late. You're late to the game. Technically speaking, you should already be in your first short trade when C happens. The correct answer was B. Does everybody see that? Now there is some confusion, and this happens in the room because, you know, markets just don't do everything perfectly like you want them to do every single day. And, you know, it would be nice if everything just was cookie cutter every day and you just did everything all. But, you know, markets go up, they go down, they get algos, you get news, you get tweets. And so you got to do the best you can to decipher and understand. For me personally, I never take a retracement that goes that deep, ever. Ever. If a market has broken support and the background turns red and comes up and kisses and rolls, I will always take the short. Always. I will never buy that, ever. Just to let you know, okay? All right, well, let's continue on. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and continue with this morning one more time on YM and see if you can spot a short trade entry in real time. Are you ready? And then we're going to move on to a couple other things while I got a little bit of time left. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? The flip side is also true with. Let me go back and show this before we advance the chart to begin to look for short trade entries. So area C support is clearly broken. If the reverse happened to the upside, which you can clearly see over here was the case, where we went from sideways to up, it was a very similar condition. You're looking. Usually, there's some kind of ABC that happens. A is the thrust, B is the pullback, C is the follow through to the up. Here, the ABC pattern, A, B, C pattern. And this transitional area A on the downside would be equivalent to this area on the upside move here. Okay, this would be kind of actually it would be more over here like that. That area, this area. See how it's transitioning, coming up. Is that an aggressive long entry? Yes. Can you take it? Of course. A lot of times those work out with a tight stop just under the mid-band. Can you wait for a pullback? Most times you can, and you got one right here on the long side. Same here. Transitional area. It doesn't bounce. It can't get through that mid-band again, and you get a thrust. Background turns red, come up, kiss resistance, roll over, aggressive entry short. Now that short turned out to be beautiful short. Look how it dropped. You know, it went from 315 all the way down here to this is 50 ticks. In fact, I think it went further. This is all at 6 o'clock. I don't know if Gary caught this in the room. You know, this was all happening right when he's opened the room at 5:55. So I don't know if you caught that or not. All right, we're going to begin the next exercise. When you think that there is a short trade setup occurring in real time with recreation of the bars from this morning, you type in the letter S for short. Okay? Here we go. 6:05. 6:06, 6:07, Remember, you're looking for shorts. 608, 610, 612, 620, 624, 627, 628, 630. Equity market's open. Live room's been open for 35 minutes. 631, 632. Looking for shorts. Looking for shorts. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. How many shorts are on this, starting from here, not including the letter B? Not including B, how many short trades are on this chart? How many short trade entries, counting from the line to the right, how many legitimate short trade entries are on this chart? What say you, team? And did you get them? Well, let's go back and look now that we see it. We reconstructed it in real time. Was this a legitimate short trade entry at midband right here? Yes. Now, second part of the question. Was it ever filled? No. Was it an entry? Yes. How about up here where these bars are kissing line 6 in a deep retracement here? Is that a legitimate short entry? 1 and 2. So right now we have 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Right? How about right here? Do the bars close above stealth and line 2 to create a minimum criteria short entry right there? Is that an entry? Is that a thrust down to support, prior support, and a bounce and a rollover? Yes. Yeah. You had a transitional background. Now look, I know, when this thing goes deep and you get these blue bars in the market transitions, you get nervous and you start to think trend change, and a lot of you don't want to take these deep retracements. I totally get it. I really do. Don't take them. That's the only thing I can say. Don't. If you take that type of retracement and it doesn't work, don't do it. Was there another spot to get in the short if you didn't take this box? If you never got filled here and you're not comfortable with these deep ones up near 6 in a downtrend, is there another place you could have gotten in short after this box? Could you have done something like this? Could you have done something like this? Were there multiple, the point I'm trying to make is this. Were there multiple spots to get short in this area right here? Yes, of course. In this area, it took about 20 minutes to form. There was plenty of time to look at this, right? Here's 606, 607. And the final real break didn't occur until like 626, 627. So you had 20 minutes of dinking around up here to take shorts. Okay? Even if you missed the area B here, all these entries, and it comes up, that's a minimum criteria there, and say you missed that, and now you're at 632. Is this another spot to take a short at the midband right here? Yes or no? So how many entries were there? Yes, of course it's yes. I mean, you could make the case that after letter B, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries. Spots you could have taken shorts. The trend was down, you were only taking shorts, and there was several spots you could have taken it. The one thing you got to try to do if you can is, and I know it's really tempting because, a lot lot of traders, a lot of people think the more charts I have up, the more opportunity I have. You really don't want to do that. And I've said this 1,000 times over the years, at least probably 500 times. You really want to get comfortable with 1 or 2 charts. Find an instrument that you just practice with and you get really good at it. You have a high percentage win rate. You know, you're comfortable with the trade type setups. The market, it moves like you like it. And then just stick with it until its personality changes, and then you can look at something else. And you really want to keep, I really just say this, you really want to keep it to 1 or 2 charts. 2 max. Maximum. I wouldn't go any more than 2 charts. 2 screens, 2 charts. That's all you need. 2 charts, 2 trades. And then get really good. Okay? You know, if you don't like the deep retracements, don't do them. If you don't like the minimum, don't do them. If you're a mid person and you just want to learn mid-band, get a YM chart, learn mid-band trades. Start with that. You start with something and get good at it. You know, you heard the saying a million times, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It takes time to learn all this stuff, and you got to give yourself an opportunity to really learn it. And once you do, then you can start making money consistently. All right, that's a wrap. I'm sorry I didn't get to other instruments, so I promise what I'm going to do on Saturday morning is get to all those other instruments, okay?